Hi, I'm Drew Sawyer, and this is my video essay on the portrayal of teachers in the media. The television series I decided to watch was AP Bio. This show is about Jack Griffin, a Harvard professor who teaches philosophy, who ends up not receiving tenure and goes back to his hometown of Toledo, where he gets a teaching job as a high school AP Bio teacher. Jack, from the very beginning, is in full admittance. He doesn't care about the job and he doesn't want to teach AP Bio at all. Um, there's also three teachers that interact with Jack at the school. They're kind of displayed as very jaded to teaching, um, more because it's their job and not because they care about teaching. They're shown to be a little bit dim-witted and goofy, but it also does kind of show the side of teachers you don't normally think about when you're a student. That they're kind of normal adults who do things like go out for drinks and um, excuse me, they live normal lives. The dynamic between Jack and his students starts off as very rough. As this is an AP course, most of the students are shown to be more on the overachieving side of the spectrum, and actually have an interest in learning biology and are frustrated that Jack is refusing to teach the class, and how he's manipulating them to do kind of his bidding, and he chooses to do as he pleases. One of the students who's always sitting in the front and center of the class refuses to kind of play into his games and tries to stand up and foil his plans of doing nothing. Jack is displayed as extremely uncaring for the class, but there's a little bit of foreshadowing that shows in time he'll end up caring for the students and their education. I only watched the first four episodes of this show, so I didn't get the full season, but it seems to show that he cares maybe a little bit more than he shows on the surface. Um, I think that as much as the show is an extreme personification of teachers for the sake of comedy, there's a little bit of truth to it. I think everyone has had a teacher that absolutely did not care to teach the class, and is only really there to collect a check and has been protected by the union for far too many years. In the documentary I watched called Teach Us All, they go into really great detail on not or on how much not only a good teacher can influence us in a positive way, but how like a bad teacher can ruin education for people and push them out the door. The documentary also talked deeply about racism and segregation in education, and how the quality of teaching in most of its minority based schools is much lower. And it makes it harder for minorities to get a fair and equal education to white peers that live in a good neighborhood and have better education out there, um, and have better schooling and staff. Um, excuse me, I lost where I was. In the third reading, five key trends in teaching profession, that is, it's noted that there is a much higher turnover rate for high poverty areas in both urban and rural high poverty areas, which those areas are usually known to have a higher concentration of a minority population. While AP Bio is clearly written as a fictional comedy, it's a little bit hard to say what would make it more accurately represent teachers, as again, it is a comedy. The first thing that comes to my mind is that he would actually have to teach a class, or that he would be, reprimanded and fired for not teaching a class. Um, but for this video essay's sake, I'll give some more examples. I don't think in the show they really show how difficult and daunting the task of teaching is, and how you kind of have to learn to care and nurture children that aren't your own. Jack makes it seem like it's the easiest job in the world, although he's not really doing his job. Um, it also is not shown how much teachers actually care for their students. And this goes for both Jack and the other group of teachers that I previously mentioned. Nobody in the school really seems to have regards for the students or their well-being, and they even tend to make fun of the students a good bit. Um, and I feel like just as we have all had bad teachers, I'm sure most of us have had a great teacher who like really cares about you, your education, and your future. Um, but while watching this show, I did not really get a great insight into how teachers actually are. But the documentary and the articles provided for this 2 week block has helped me kind of get a better insight into how hard teachers actually work. Um, in the documentary, they actually go to an elementary school in Little Rock, Alabama, um, which was like the worst elementary school in the district. And they had a revitalization, bringing in new technology, new teachers, and a new principal. And I felt like you could really see how much these teachers cared and wanted to make a difference in these children's lives. They really had hope for the children. And in one instance, it even shows a teacher saying that, one of these children asked her if a quarter was enough to buy a book at the book fair. And, like, what do you do? And she said she just pulled out $10 and handed it to a child because she'd rather have a child having a book than her having $10 in her wallet, which is pretty. I mean, I definitely cried a little bit. Um, the article, the reading, excuse me, in the reading. Boy, I'll edit this part. In the reading, five key trends. In the reading, five key trends in the teacher workforce. All right. In the reading, five key trends in the teacher workforce help get a little bit better of insight into the ways that the education workforce is changing and growing. I felt like my kind of big outtake from that was the tremendous growth in new minority teachers since the 80s, which I think is a positive change for public education. I think it's more important to kind of have like a little bit of diversity. Um, in the article, What Movies and TFA Teaches Us About Who Should Teach Your Urban Youth, goes into depth about the trend or the trope of white undereducated teachers who come in and kind of change the lives of urban youth who are struggling in education, in movies such as like Freedom Riders. Um, it makes a conclusion. The article makes the conclusion that programs like Teach for America, where young inexperienced teachers go in and into under resourced schools for 2 years and teach, is actually worse for the students in the school and is more beneficial to the teachers that decided to do this program, kind of proving the whole white savior trope wrong. Um, Overall, I think I have found the media portrayal of teachers is usually skewed kind of far in each direction. They have really both like kind of the awful teachers that nobody likes, or the life saving white savior teacher. But at the end of the day, I personally feel like teachers, for the most part, probably fall somewhere in kind of in the middle where they care about their students, but maybe not going the full the full distance and changing their students' lives. And I know this is a broad observation, as there's over 3 million public school teachers teaching K through 12 education in America. But it's kind of the conclusion that I've found after watching AP Bio, the documentary, and reading through some of these articles. Thank you.